Her name is Emily. If she said one word too many, she could end up with a hard slap on the way home. But that day, for the first time, she was truly happy because someone actually paid for her paintings. She never imagined those small colors in her hands could earn her respect. So she started spending more time painting, like fate had cracked open just enough to let a little light in. Ethan always called her lazy. He complained she didn't do much around the house, but most of the everyday work still ended up on his shoulders. When Emily ran out of paint, he'd quietly bring home more and set it right by her hand. No explanations. The little house was full of flies. Emily asked for screens on the windows. Ethan said it was unnecessary, a waste of money. But the next day, the screens were up. He never said, "I love you." He proved it, quietly. Emily loved watching him chop wood. The sharp crack of the log made her feel safe. Little by little, his silhouette started showing up in her paintings. They weren't married, but they lived like they were. One night, Emily asked, "We live together. We sleep together. Why don't we get married?" Ethan gave the same answer. It costs too much. But the next day, he put on his best suit and took her to church. No rings, no guests, just the two of them, and a wagon ride back home. Their smiles were the only witnesses. That night, up in the small attic, they danced. Emily barefoot, standing on top of Ethan's shoes, swaying slowly with him. Soft light, few words, a tight embrace. Married life stayed the same. Ethan went out to sell fish. Emily stayed home and painted. Then Lily came to visit. She said she was moving to New York and wanted to buy several paintings to take with her. Ethan accepted the money for Emily, and the two of them celebrated, never imagining those paintings would later spark a crisis. Emily made a sign to sell her work. With Ethan's support, her small business began. Winter after winter passed. Thanks to Lily's promotion, Emily's story spread across the country. She became famous. She made the newspapers. Even the president wrote her a letter asking for a painting. But Emily didn't change. On every painting, she signed two names, hers and Ethan's. When the interview aired, Emily was portrayed as sweet and charming, while Ethan came off as rough and bitter. People criticized him, and Ethan started wondering if he even deserved her. When Emily wanted to visit her sick Aunt Grace, Ethan refused to go, afraid of the rumors. Emily walked a long way on her own. When she came back, Ethan went to get her, unable to stay away. But they fought. Emily stepped off the wagon, not knowing where to go, and ended up at Lily's house. That night, she couldn't sleep. She missed Ethan. And alone in the house, Ethan missed her too. The next day, Ethan swallowed his pride and came for her. They sat on a bench, talked calmly for a long time, and their hands found each other again. Years passed. Emily knew the end was getting close. She asked Ethan to keep more dogs, so he wouldn't feel so alone when she was gone. Ethan didn't want to accept it, but Emily's illness had no cure. One night, the pain became unbearable. Ethan rushed her to the hospital, but it was too late. Sitting beside her, staring at her pale, fragile face, he whispered, "How could I ever think you weren't perfect?" Emily said his name softly. With her last breath, she leaned in and whispered a few words into his ear. Ethan rested his face against her chest, and in the quiet, Emily was gone. Ethan went home alone. The walls were still filled with color, the traces of their love, like an echo that never fades. In his hands, he held a small box. Inside was the old job posting, the piece of paper that had brought them together forever.